Is believing that aliens exist haram? No, I think we got this question before, but no. Anything that the Quran or Sunnah is silent on, then in general, it's fine believing in those things as long as they do not contradict what is in the Quran or the Sunnah. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Fulan. I learned a website called Kada, and I received payment from this website. Is it halal or haram? I don't know. I'd have to look into the website. Feel free to make an appointment. You can go to our website, hijrah.org, to make an appointment to discuss this. Is it okay to believe in some aspects of numerology, being born on certain days, give certain personality or zodiac, people generally? No, it is not. All of these things, basically, ascribing anything to the unseen would be considered impermissible because these are all things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written. Because this can always be extended to other things when in reality is like there's no connection to any of those things and Allah knows best. Isn't it true it is wrong to converse or talk during wudu? It is considered makruh. It is considered dislike, but your wudu is still valid if you speak during your wudu. What if you're praying in a musalla and you're praying sunnah and someone joins you thinking that you are praying fard? Continue your prayer, and you can pray out loud if you like. For that person, it will be fard. For you, it will be your sunnah. If you continue praying as if it's fard, as someone joins, does it count as both your sunnah and your fard? No. So basically, when it comes to niyyah, there are a few conditions for niyyah. If I am praying fard, I can change my intention during the prayer to make it sunnah. But if I am praying sunnah, I cannot change my intention to make it fard, right? So just in summary, to make it easy, I can downgrade my intention, but I cannot upgrade it, right? So I can't move from sunnah to fard, but I can move from fard to sunnah. I can't, for fard, any type of major changes in intention. So for example, if I'm praying Salat al-Asr and I forgot that I didn't pray Dhuhr, for example, if I change my intention at that time, batalat as-salah. I have broken my prayer and I have to make my prayer again. Because I can even parallel changes from one fard to another. This is a break in the intention, and in the intention, the niyyah is a condition for prayer. So that prayer would be considered invalid. Yet you broke your prayer, right? The moment I changed my intention, I broke my prayer, and I have to start my prayer again. Are belly piercings haram? No, I don't think so. Saying that, I was looking at some statistical data because somebody had asked me about earrings, and if you look at basically, I forgot what they're called. Who are the people who do body piercings? Maybe piercing artists or something. I'm sorry. اوكي لا بالانجليزي والله يعني شو سمى الوظيفة ما ادري but but anyway, so like the people who do piercings, there was this they sent out a survey like, where do you do piercings, like where are the most common piercings, and for women the most common piercings were the ear and the belly button. Men don't usually get it, so I would say very prematurely that piercing for men to do it, I think is haram, because this is what usually what women get. Who is considered your mahram? Anybody who you have a blood relationship with that is on the same level as your parents or your grandparents, or at the same level of the children of your brothers and sisters. So if you looked at it, basically there's you, and it would look like this going up, and it would look like this going down, because your cousins are not mahram, right? They're not mahram. That's why it looks like this. But your parents, your fathers, for a girl, for example, her father and her father's brothers, her mother and her mother's brothers, all of these people will be considered mahram. But her father's brothers, her father's sister's husband would not be mahram. Why? Because there's no blood relation there. Moving up further, grandparents on both sides. So the grandfather of the mother, so the father of the mother and the father of the father, both of these would be mahram to the girl. So all at that level and at the level below it, as long as there's a blood relationship there, then all of those people would be considered maharim. Right? These are people that it is it is not permissible to marry those people al abad. Right? So there are certain relationships where you can't marry, but they're conditional. So, for example, a man can't marry two wives simultaneously, but that doesn't make his wife's sister a mahram. So there are situations where that does happen. But in general, like I said, as long as there's a blood relationship there, whether going up or, like I said, from the siblings down. From the siblings down. Not the first cousins down, but from the siblings down, because these are all considered your nieces and nephews, or grandnieces and grandnephews. All of these people would be considered maharim. This applies similarly to rida'. This applies similarly to rida'. So, for example, I guess let me give my example. My youngest daughter, she was fed by one of my wife's friends. So, by being fed by her, her husband is now mahram to my daughter, and their children are mahram. Her brothers are also mahram. But his family would not be considered mahram. Right? His family would not be considered mahram. It would only be from the mother. Right? It would only be from the mother and her husband because of zawaj, because of marriage, and it would be all of the children that come from that. But it wouldn't be to his grandparents, for example. Or no, it would apply, I'm sorry. It would apply to his grandparents, and it would apply to those children. But with rida, it's more narrow, right? It's a little bit more narrow than it is through blood, and Allah knows best. Do children need to have Muslim names? So it depends on what you mean by Muslim name, right? As long as the name doesn't have a bad meaning, it is permissible to keep that name. It is permissible to keep that name. I know it becomes a custom, for example, when people take their shahada, if they have Western names, right? If their names are like Michael or Juan or Carlos or Danielle or Daniela, people will be like, oh, you should change your name. It is not necessary. It is not necessary to change an individual's name. Someone might be like, oh, well, doesn't the name have to be Muslim? The problem that we have is many times when we think of Muslim, we think of Eastern names. And if I asked, for example, a Pakistani, I said, okay, well, what about Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb is not an Arab name at all. It is not something that was known to the Prophet ﷺ. It was not known to the companions. Why is that considered okay? Right? It's a question. As long as the meanings aren't bad, then it is permissible, again, to have those names and to take those names, whether those names be Western or Eastern, as long as the meaning isn't bad, it is permissible to keep your names. And actually, we encourage people to keep their names. And I know that some people, they want to do it because they feel like it's a change and they want to change their identity. It's your prerogative. You have every right. It's your name. If you want to change it, you can. But it is not necessary. It is not a requirement. And Allah knows best. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu ala khayri khalqin. Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.